So we are working on the Wayfinding for Ontario Works challenge, of which the project owner is the City of Toronto. So the data sets that we used for this were the data set that was provided by our mentor, Sophia, about the list of services that Ontario Works provides for people who are looking for jobs and training. We also found something called the Toronto Helpline, which also archives all this information. Our group was about 8 people, so we had 3 data scientists, Adrian, Ryan, and Danny, who is unfortunately not able to be here today. Muriel is our UX person. We had 2 mentors, Sophia in the crowd and Bill Mann, who you heard from earlier, and myself, who's mostly here just to make jokes. So the problem definition that we came up with is that Ontario Works program enrollment and the referral process is not client-centered. It's very difficult for clients to find out about programs. Even if the client is very good at researching, it's very difficult to find this information because there's no repository of this information anywhere online. You basically have to search for individual service providers, and then you might be able to find out about a program that service provider is providing. So this makes the client very reliant on the client's individual caseworker to learn about the programs, because if you can't find out about the programs beforehand, then you have nothing to go to your caseworker, so you can't be prepared for the meeting with the caseworker, so it doesn't serve the client. It also doesn't serve the caseworker, because the client isn't really prepared at those meetings, so the caseworker has to spend a lot of time talking to the client about things that the client is interested in, rather than the client being empowered to take this information directly to the caseworker. So our solution is a suite of different web tools that allows the clients to take an active role in the case plan. And we're going to run through it with you a bit later. The reasoning for this solution is that it allows clients to take a proactive role. We believe that empowering the client will allow them to achieve better outcomes, which we'll also go through in a bit more detail later. It saves caseworker time. And one of the features of these tools is that it's also going to collect data on programs and training things that the client is going to be searching about. So as an example, if I'm a client and I'm trying to use this tool and I don't think that the options being displayed are really applicable to me, it's going to allow me to search for things. And by collecting data on what clients are searching for, this will allow for more proactive and responsive program development. So I'm just going to pass the time right now to Adrian, who's going to go into a bit more of the technical details.
So the way that we approach this problem is pretty similar to the majority of the data democratization problems, where first of all we have to enable people with the data itself. So it can't just be a list of the programs and organizations. It's got to be something that's easily accessible, easily queryable, and sortable, filterable, things like that. And then the next step is to basically leverage this to focus on our owned properties. So OWM sites, Toronto sites, things like that, to help people find the programs that they need. And with this, additionally with this service, the first service, you're able to then market it to people who are able to layer on top applications and do pretty cool stuff with it, similar to what we're doing right here. So we did a little bit of a prototype on all of the stages to show what it would look like. The first of which is the agency data API, which is up and running at that address. You can go on and, well, what we did was we took all of the data painstakingly, all of the different organizations and their services, went through and categorized all of them, and basically fit a schema to it. And now you can go on and query it with JSON. The next is a reimagined site flow based on some of the data that we've collected. And this will allow clients to go through and filter down basically the types of programs that they'd like. And then last is a Facebook chat bot. It doesn't necessarily have to be Facebook, but a lot of the plumbing was created already for us. Right now it's just sort of a cute chat bot, but it can be pretty powerful in the future. So I'm going to hand it over to Muriel to take us through the reimagined site flow.
Okay, so this is the platform where anyone who wants to find information on employment services, education programs, and information on financial support. So as I scroll down, Second thing that you'll see is a search bar where you can input a postal code to find your local Ontario Works office. The next is resources, a list of resources where you can find benefits and supports for you. So I'm going to get started on the questionnaire. The first question asks you, what do you identify yourself as? So I'm going to say, prefer not to answer. The next question is, what is your age range? Well, I'm 25, so I'm going to say under 25, 30. The third question is, what status are you in Canada? Well, I'm new to Canada, so I'm going to say landed immigrant. The fourth question asks you, what are you trying to access? What service? So I'm trying to look for a job, so I'm going to say employment services. The next question, what type of job are you interested in? So below you, you'll see a bunch of job categories. I'm going to say construction. And the last question further narrows down the job category that you picked. So I'm going to say trades. And next you'll be able to see a list of trades program that you are eligible based on the questions you answered. And so here are a list of programs. Now if I don't see something that is relevant to me or I want more answers, I'm going to click the Need Help button, which will take me to the chat bot.
Okay, so there's a reason I'm typing this in. It's incredibly unreliable, and I'll be blown away if it works. So we type hi, get things started. It's a bit slow given the free server that we spun up. Hopefully still running. Maybe it's down? Oh, okay. So we get a welcome screen. A little ambitious to have free-form text like this. In reality, it would probably be limited down to certain options or something like that, or if we crowdsource this to smarter people, we could get quite a great application out of this. Just for this instance, and because it's the only thing that will work, I'll say that I'm needing a job. And hopefully it works. Okay, so it didn't. But it's only a delay. We actually modeled this after Adrian, so it takes a couple of responses. Okay, and so in reality, it would probably look a lot more like this with a subset of buttons. I'm not sure if in reality this is practical. Job signing services, we envisioned that things like signing up to pull sources from job boards, set up for alerts, so on and so forth. The pre-job training is what we encountered the most in the data that we collected of all the different services. I mean, the options are endless for what we could do here. But say if I click this, it doesn't understand, so I will type training again. Again, just like Adrian, maybe one more time.
And also like many OW workers, case managers, just to give you that personal side.
I think, again, crowdsourced, maybe we could get someone who's better at distributing this cache that we set up to remember state, and so we didn't encounter these problems. I'm definitely not the expert. So here, we're trying to limit down, just as Muriel's example, how to better rank, and I think Adrian took care of a nice sorting of the services. This thing would probably include things like your location, so it was easier to access, and other traits that some of the eligibilities state of these programs. But if I say yes, and this works, okay.
Got a minute left. Just to add some pressure to it.
Okay, well, there we go. And so we would get a list of results. You could call potentially, or whoever the contact method is. I mean, this would fit to the schema, and hopefully we'd enforce it amongst the services. I could view the website and hopefully get the results that I need for the caseworker, or empower myself. But that's basically the gist of it. Oh, sorry.
Next one.
30 seconds to wrap her up.
Yeah, so just some concluding remarks with regards to the outcomes as well as the relation to the TPRS strategy. So basically this helps system access because you can, like we use Facebook, there's no reason it can't run off any regular website. You could put it on all the computers in the OW office. You could have some sort of large touch screen in the OW office since most of it is buttons based. It reminds clients of things like investing in neighborhoods and the allowances that are available to them. And in terms of systemic change, it really empowers the client to take control of their own case plan so that they can find the programs that are relevant to them, go to the caseworker and be prepared for that meeting with the caseworker, which we think will result in clients being able to find better jobs with higher wages because they've taken an active role in their own case management. Thank you.